Hey everyone, it's Lisa Sweeney here from Business and Heals. Joining us today is a woman whose 15-year journey in Australia is a masterclass in professional evolution and tenacity. Since migrating here in 2010, she's balanced a senior corporate career with a deep entrepreneurial spirit, successfully launching and scaling physical product brands while raising a family of four. Her path took a profound turn in recent years through a journey of personal growth and spiritual search. This led her to pursue intensive clinical training to master her ultimate passion, understanding and transforming the subconscious mind. As a diploma qualified clinical hypnotherapist, she helps individuals from all walks of life rewire the internal blocks and subconscious patterns that hold them back from their next level of health and success. She's also currently expanding her expertise into the specialised field of gut-directed hypnotherapy. She's currently in the middle of an exciting transition, moving into her clinical practice full-time this July. Please welcome clinical hypnotherapist and the intuitive executive, Vanessa Camelo. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. So let's just dig in a little bit to your story. Tell us, Vanessa, a little bit about why you started Between Versions.
Well, migrating into a new country is no easy feat. And with a new journey comes in new challenges as well. I did let life guide me all the way during, let's say, 10 years in Australia. And then during those 10 years, we all face challenges. And I did learn that I didn't need to look for validation externally. I needed to look inside myself. And then I started my search. It comes a point that we all look for purpose and a fulfilling job. And I did find myself exploring the power of the mind, the subconscious mind. And now here I am, a hypnotherapist.
That's fabulous. And so, what really motivated you to make that change?
When I first started here, I started in corporate. From a background in chemical engineering, I did manage projects here in Australia, and I turned to be in IT most recently. And there is a pattern that goes along the way for all leaders and employees. We are all trying to do the best with the best resources we have at the time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are aligned to who we are or who we want to be. And when I did discover that we have control of our own minds and our own lives, then I decided to be the living experience and the living example for many people around there. So I decided to actually go on a journey that was aligned to myself and not to what society actually wants.
Which is a difficult thing at the time, right? To make that change. It's hard to
Absolutely.
recognize that in yourself and then to actually take the move. So, did you find it challenging to actually take that time to really
Oh,
delve in?
yes. It's very challenging. And that's where hypnotherapy comes to me. Having an engineering mind and an IT understanding, I'm very visual and I see flowcharts, I see SOPs, I see procedures. But then with hypnotherapy, how can I make that work? That's when I actually help people. I go inside their mind. I guide them to do what they actually want. It's a practical exercise that I can help them with that. In saying that, I did that to myself. And that's why I was able to actually overcome my challenges. With transition, we are most likely afraid of the unknown rather than the transition itself. Um, it's very hard to envisage ourselves on the other side. And that's where between versions comes in. We are constantly in between versions of ourselves. So I decided to actually become the version that I wanted to be instead of letting life, society, other people direct me.
Which
That's
is very, very powerful and very courageous because, you're jumping out there without a safety net to start off with. So that's amazing. So, what you do for people. So, without naming names, perhaps give us some of the examples of some of the problems that people have come to you with and the sort of transformation that they've been able to achieve.
absolutely. In this very fast-paced environment, we have corporate jobs, or we are moms, or we have our daily lives, and we live in a world that intensifies our stress levels. And stress is one of the example. Anxiety is another one. And what I help people with, it's not about the stress itself, because that's a protective mechanism from the body and the mind. It's the chronic stress, the ones that we can't actually live without anymore. So stress, anxiety, personal and professional change, which is I hate my job, or I hate my boss. How do I deal with those circumstances? Or I don't have confidence to stand on a stage and speak. Or most recently, it's actually the connection between the brain and the gut that has been taking all my attention. There is actual, a real communication via a nerve. And I actually can retrain the brain and the gut to work in connection, which has been amazing. So people with gut issues also come to see me.
Fantastic. And is part of this, stress eating and other things that, when people feel less than adequate, they go and eat, chocolate or something really unhealthy. And is that like a minor part of it? Or are you talking about much more, big eating disorders?
It could be big eating disorders. The gut that I'm talking about is mostly around diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain. It's something that the body starts, the communication breaks somewhere, and that response from the gut to the brain, the brain to the gut, then intensifies. That's a bigger thing that the person can't do it by themselves. The same way, a personal change do need support. Habit takes a long time to change by its own. And if you miss a day, then you are back to the first, this stage zero. So with hypnotherapy, we accelerate that process, but not just that, we go deeper into the subconscious mind. Because sometimes we do have many emotions that were repressed. And when we repress an emotion, we carry it for our lives. And what happens is you adjust your life to deal with that repression. You do not deal with the emotion itself and just go and live your life. You actually adjust everything. And that we go deeper in this exercise.
But that would be true for many corporate women, right?
That would be for
and you're going from meeting to meeting, not even having a toilet break 90% of the times, eating very unhealthily, and often having to repress emotion because you're often dealing with, all sorts of different power struggles and various other things. So that would be amazing. So for a corporate person dealing with that sort of thing, what would be the likely sort of transformation that they could hope to achieve?
In corporate, I'm going to sound cliche here, but my very first tip would be breathing exercises. It's we just before a meeting, being in corporate, I know that we can just close our eyes and just go and just breathe for a second. This is number one. But then with the program I work with, I teach women to regulate themselves. So I'm not there to support them, but I give them exercises that are quick and they can do on a daily basis, or just before a meeting, or just after a meeting, depending on whichever was
Yeah,
the
more
worst. We
stressful.
never
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
To deal with life better, to actually handle life, because it's not just in corporate. Those women, they are in corporate, but most of them are moms. They have families, they have a household. So it's a lot to carry. And there is a point that we are carrying too much and we forget who we are.
Mm. Yeah, I think. And so tell us a little bit about, you've got a family of four that you manage, as well as work, and as well as trying to set this business up. How did you juggle it all? Or how are you juggling it all?
It's not easy, but the thing is, it's aligned to me. I love it. It's a passion. When it's a passion, I've learned through the many mistakes and the many challenges I've overcome that when it's a passion, you just find the time, you find the way. Because I had the transformation myself, my family transformed along the way. Um, when I mentioned that I am the living example, it's because we are the people that transform. We can't transform other people. So whenever we transform, we see the results externally, because the people will start seeing you in a different way. And I'm very grateful that this transformation happens, because my children now, they're growing in a harmonic family. I have a beautiful life with my husband. We are partners, and he learns on the same journey with me. So we support each other. Um, and that's what it's all about, having fun, learning and exploring what's exciting for us.
Fantastic. Now, if we had to wrap and you had to give people just one or two tips on things that they could do differently, what would they be?
Routines. First thing in the morning, most people are now looking at their phones. If they are looking at their phones for a clock, that's fine. But if they are looking at the phones for news, for example, news the worst place to go, because we have bad news all the time. You see difficult challenges every single day. You start your day letting an interruption. You just woke up, and then you are letting a bad news from external environment to interfere in your own way of seeing the world. So routine, phone is the very first thing. Pause
Nice.
and breathe, that's the second one. And third, do what excites you, and not what society actually expects from you.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us today and sharing with us some of the transformation that you've gone through and some really good tips. I think today in work life, trying to find the mythical work-life balance and what makes you happy is a challenge that we're all trying to grapple with, as well as juggling family and everything else. So some really practical tips there. And if anybody's feeling like they're between versions and wants to talk to Vanessa, we'll have a link that we put out with this video. So welcome and thank you for sharing a little bit about your journey. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa.